you want to feel good about who you are, and that's why you spend so much time trying to be a specific kind of person. I am your host, Devon, and you are listening to another episode of Center of the Sun podcast. Thank you for listening. Working out, going to the barber or the hairstylist, I don't know what the fuck, buying a fucking Gucci slippers and Champion sweatpants. I just went to Urban Outfitters and got just the most expensive kind of sweatpants there were. Oh my God, keeping a credit score higher than 4 bird pussies. Those are just examples of how much you have worked. Feel good. And to elicit emotions, all for no reason. Why do you do it? I don't know, but I feel like you want to fit in. You know, you want to feel good. You want to fit in. You want to feel like freedom is possible. That's why you're listening to Center of the Sun. The center of the sun. Oh. What is at the center of every sun, of every star? Oh. You want to feel like you can get the life you want, the way you want it. But there are some challenges. And today we have some hot topics. Oh my God. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for listening. You can text me. I forget the damn number. 513-549-6080. The text line is on. This is Center of the Sun. I'm your host, Devon. And I heard that Selena Gomez got her #1. Congratulations to Selena Gomez. Oh my God. Yay. The true Selena. The truest, I guess, girl. I don't know. People have been, these celebrities have been begging you to buy their things. And I'm like, whatever. You should probably make better stuff. I don't know. But congratulations to Selena Gomez and her marketing team. She was spotted on Instagram going to the actual store. I know I saw her doing it and buying her albums herself. But she was trying to beat Sir Roddy Ricch or somebody like that. Some rapper man who doesn't give a fuck. Who's going #1 because people like his shit, not because he went to the store and did it and bought the majority of the hard copies. But anyway, how are you doing today? This is Center of the Sun, and these are the hot topics. Rihanna, Rihanna's single, but her fans are angry at her because they don't have a single. It's like a play on words. They were like, you're single, but we didn't want you to be single. We wanted you to have a single. Or I guess maybe this will precipitate a single. I don't know. But congratulations to Rihanna for being single, because who gives a fuck? God. And if you were a true musician, you wouldn't give a fuck about Rihanna's schedule of releasing music, because it's hard. It's not something you just poop out. You don't just shit music. It comes from your soul. It is your child. It comes from a womb. It has to be birthed. So therefore it takes time. And today we're talking about the time that exists inside of your own body, your universe. Self-love starts within. Center of the Sun. Rihanna was seen with A$AP Rocky 2 days later, or yesterday. So she broke up with her Arab bae, her Muslim bae. Aw. We all are breaking up with our Muslim baes. Aw. Well, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Well, she was seen with A$AP Rocky 2 days later. So maybe she's working on something new, hopefully. Ow! Oh my God, what if she's working on a single? That would be like fucking amazing. But anyway. Oh, did you hear about rapper Pop Smoke? Well, neither have I. But I did read, thank you, internet. I did read that he was arrested for stealing a Rolls Royce. Like a fucking $100,000, various thousands of dollars worth of car. Apparently he did not return it. It was more like a did not return than I'm just going to walk into this bitch and walk out with it without talking to anybody first. He did talk to somebody, but he did not call ahead to extend his lease. So they put a GPS, location king on that bitch, and he was located and therefore charged and will most likely face penalties because that's grand theft. You can't do that. So, yeah, mind your contracts. I'm sure it was a misunderstanding. I hope it was a misunderstanding because that would suck. But anyway, I guess that's what happens when you're rich. Like, you forget that things like cost money and that things are very expensive, and that if you do not return them, you do not own them, even though you could cover the cost if you had not made arrangements to do so. It is within the company's right to sue you, but they have to first start by pressing charges, and that would require them to locate it through GPS, through the, it would require the process. So this was the beginning of the process of them probably trying to sue this person for the car. Oh my God, Drake was oversharing on Instagram the other day. He shared a thank you note from the Obamas. He's not even American. Get out of here, Drake. Damn it. Fucking the Obama daughters like Drake, so they like, I don't know why the hell, but Obama's not even, why is he thanking him? He needs to be thanking me for having this show. No, I just wish that the CIA doesn't kill me. That's all I hope for. Anyway, Netflix has expressed interest in working with Harry and Meghan. I forgot I even wrote this down. I'm like, that's juicy. Harry and Meghan, the royal couple, they have interloped from the royal family, and good for them. Fuck the fucking British. But that's why we're Americans. We're like, British people, like, fuck them. We want to be independent, bitch. We've been independent for like so long. It just feels great. And no one's talking about Brexit. That's why I brought this up, because Meghan and Harry left because of Brexit. Like, y'all racist bitches, like, y'all motherfuckers talking about some get the fuck out of my country. Like, why the fuck would we stay in your country after you said get out? You said get out. So they dismantled their whole fucking government because they didn't like brown people immigrating due to fucking the Europe laws of being a European or whatever the hell. They didn't want to be European no more, so they didn't want to be a part of the EU. So because of the immigration, like the immigration thing was like the biggest selling point for Brexit, and they passed it legally with votes. So of course, like, the people of color would like leave, like, of course, because she's American. And I was trying to explain this to my coworker the other day, but because it was wrapped up in racism, but not racism from here. I'm like, well, but it still makes sense, because like, if Meghan experiences racism in America and we don't fucking tolerate that shit, and then she goes over to the UK or whatever the fuck they call themselves now, because they don't even want to fucking be themselves anymore. Like, fuck them. Why would she tolerate it there? Why would she tolerate racism there? Like, we can see it from a mile away. I don't care if it's wrapped up in beans or whatever the fuck y'all eat or whatever the hell y'all think. I don't care. It's racism. Whatever accent you put it in, it's racism. And a black lady would know it from a mile away. And if she's smart, she would move her child away from it too. Because he's a person of color too. Even though he probably will pass for white and he'll probably be a redhead. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. It's the principle of the matter, and those people are fucking racist, and they don't give a fuck if you're redhead or not. If you're a little bit brown, they're going to call you the N-word, and that's fine. Because there's nothing wrong with being the N-word, but like Todrick Hall. Todrick Hall is being an N-word under Jeffree Star's like Instagram post. Like, speaking of people that need to like stray away from being called the N-word. Anyway, he is just like being what people on Twitter call a coon. Under, that's just an example of an insult being hurled at Todrick Hall. Because Todrick Hall's because he's being thirsty. He's being a thirst pocket underneath Jeffree Star's posts on Instagram regarding needing chocolate. Like, being fetishized is so 2000 and late. Like, get out of here. Like, girl, it's 2020. Like, what we're doing is clamping our tongue because we're not going to talk about it. But anyway, let's move on. Rapper Quavo. Why the fuck is Quavo out here allegedly in hot water for motherfucking punching one of Beyonce's dancers in Paris? I don't understand. Quavo, why are you punching people? It's the drugs. I really blame the drugs. And honestly, like, people do fight, but I'm like, girl, you're in Paris. Like, what are you mad about? How are you mad? But you know what? It is what it is. Hopefully he doesn't face any sort of water, but you know, that's what happens. You're a black man in a white place. You're going to get hot water thrown at you if you punch people, especially Beyonce's dancers, but whatever. I don't know. Have you heard of it? Text me. What do you think? Like, what's going on with the world? Is it the drugs? What are they mad about? Please, can you please explain it to me? Area code 513-549-6080. Let's move on. I just wanted to just briefly touch on Mac Miller, the rapper, the late rapper, Mac Miller. I didn't really listen to him a lot, but they released some of his music because I guess it's like his birthday. It's like his 28th birthday. And like a lot of people, including some people close to me, became fatally succumbed to overdose and drug use. And Mac Miller, like many people that have died recently, left a lot of things behind, but one of the biggest things a person like this left behind was a lesson of his life and a worldview that only could have come by this avalanche of trauma and pain. And a lot of times when you experience trauma and pain, you have to find a way through it. And today we're going to talk about the natural way that we deal with pain, like the pain of grief or the pain of trauma. And I'm like hitting my microphone, so hopefully it doesn't. You probably can't even hear it. So I'm just telling on myself, but it's fine. The pain of being like buzzed by the clippers at the barber on your ear or the back of your neck. Or he doesn't care that he's digging like in the back of your... That's why I just cut my own hair. It's fine. But you want to feel good. And there are days that you don't feel good, of course, naturally. You want to fit in. You want to feel like freedom is possible. You want to feel like you can get the life you want the way you want it. But this world is challenging, though. The world is like it wants to fucking suck the soul out of your body. This society wants you to feel bad. At the end of the day, you should feel bad most days. Like, every place you turn is motherfucking like manipulation tactics and fear and Donald Trump appealing to your lower self and your boss like being micromanaging you and like not trusting you, or your friends like discarding you and rejecting you. You feel bad because there are enough signals in your environment to warrant such a response. You have been trained like a fucking dog. You've been trained like a fucking dog to hate feeling good. And it's not okay. You've been trained to feel like it's not okay to have certain kinds of thoughts and certain kinds of feelings. You've been trained to feel like it's not okay to have opinions and points of view that differ from the people around you. But you're tired of being rejected. You're tired of feeling out of place. You're tired tired of being lonely. You're tired of love being recoiled after making one motherfucking mistake because you just don't fit the status quo. You're broken. You're broken because all of this has taken its toll on your psyche. Your spirit is longing for a purposeful way out. And until someone comes along and tells you who you are, or tells you how all this actually works, and gives you a way to talk to the most powerful parts of your mind and nervous system, until someone like myself today, thank you for listening, comes along, you will continue in the same motherfucking cycle. And it's not fair to you. You deserve to feel good. And you can feel good. It's so simple. So stop allowing people other than yourself to have an advantage over your destiny. You deserve to feel good, and you can change your life for the better. Fuck what the haters say. You can master yourself. It's called self-mastery, and it's on YouTube. It's real easy. So we're going to talk about oxytocin. It's a hormone. What is oxytocin? Have you heard of it? Every human on the planet needs to be nurtured. Every human on the planet comes from some womb, some other human, and shortly after birth, a newborn faces serious consequences if it is not nurtured. And those consequences do include death. Do you know why that happens? And it's been studied, and there's various times where children die if they were never touched after birth. That's because your mind is like a machine, and the various fluids comprise how it functions. And one of the main routes of stimulating these fluids is through human touch, skin to skin. Tummy time and skin to skin. You have to pay for it. It's like super important. It's like prescribed by a doctor. When you smile or frown or touch your child, those actions are expressed in a sequence of movements of fluids throughout your body. With it, do you know what is with it? It is a bioelectricity and zing consciousness. It's a spark of life. It's not clear how all of this works. So, we don't really understand. We know how things generally move. We know it's on. Like last week, I was like, I think on a YouTube video or something that I made. I was like, just think of a being like coming down and seeing the phone and being able to like recognize that the phone, like an iPhone, is on, but not understanding like what an iPhone does. Especially the fact that it like talks to other things, like it just knows it's on. Like that's the kind of the view that we have of our body. We know how things move, but we really don't know anything else. And it's kind of weird, but that's kind of how our consciousness, that's how we kind of understand our consciousness. We kind of know how it moves, but we don't really understand how it works. But we can identify these fluids, and one of them is oxytocin. And today, oxytocin is being highlighted for its ability to unlock your ability to change your life. So what the fuck is this bodily fluid? Well, let's look at the dictionary. The Dictionary of Biology by Oxford Press describes it as, I quote, a hormone produced by the neurosecretory cells by the hypothalamus. In some species, the high circulating levels of oxytocin immediately after birth are associated with a critical period for the mother's bonding with her newborn young. New research has found that the same hormone can be modulated by our bodies to control pain. So do you want to know how patients were able to control their pain, honey? So a scientific term for detecting such pain is called nociception. It's the detection of the body of injury or noxious stimuli generally perceived as pain. How is this sensed? Well, scientists at the German Cancer Research Center and Cell Network Cluster of Excellence. Come on, somebody. The University of Heidelberg, Germany, found that self-soothing, something as simple as self-soothing, also yielded the greatest number of stimuli, or the greatest stimuli of oxytocin in the brain, thus affecting the same fibers in the spinal cord related to the modulation of pain. So what does that mean? I don't know. Well, that means that these observations have led to the development of drugs that can help you modulate these feelings or this hormone. And when you modulate this hormone, you can turn on and off those natural switches to external pain. But there are also scientists that believe that other applications of stimulating oxytocin can be found other than decreasing pain. You can also use it in mental health therapy. So doctors have used new forms of mental health therapy by incorporating principles of self-soothing, like guided meditation, to stimulate oxytocin in the same way that they do it with drugs. They can do it with self-soothing and guided meditation, because it can also be observed that oxytocin is secreted in the blood in similar ways when you just think about things you love. So this hormone can be measured in the blood, and its effects can be measured in the brain and in the nervous system. So you have an excuse to be selfish, and you have an excuse to constantly seek your own joy, because the more you do, the more you will start untraining all of the ways you learned throughout your childhood and adulthood and all that shit to disrespect yourself. Yeah. You know how many times you call yourself a bitch during the day? You know how many times you cuss yourself out for doing really simple stuff that you should, give yourself grace? You should stop being so serious. That's where you fucked up at. You know how I just misused grammar? See? Stop being so serious. You're stressing yourself out for no fucking reason. And just by taking something you really want to get rid of, take something, some flaw about yourself, visualize it in your mind, then discard it in some symbolic way, that little action, that will go so far, because your brain is using oxytocin. And when you use oxytocin, it promotes neuroplasticity. And this is all scientific. It's this hormone. It promotes neuroplasticity. And do you ever wonder why you love your mother so much? Or don't, or whatever? It's because you have a strong, or lack thereof, a bond that is strong. And your neurons, you can build new habits with your neurons. Like, we proved that that's possible. And you do that through bioelectricity and through thinking of things. And we have proof that even by thinking of things you love, or even if you think of pain and try to soothe it with just thinking of good things, you start burrowing new pathways. And when you do that, you start cleaning space in your mind, and you will start allowing your higher self through. And that is the whole purpose of all of this, is to help you realize your higher self. So by realizing your higher self, and we're going to end early today, you realize, by realizing your higher self, that your higher self is the voice of truth and the voice of reason. It's wisdom. And your higher self sees every good thing about you and tells you all the good things about you over and over again, every day. So you want to start creating these new pathways so your higher self can come through, and you'll know because the higher self is 100 times louder than anything else. Your higher self locks itself into a special part of your brain, and a special part of your spirit, and a special part of your body that you can always find. And as a result, you'll always have somewhere to reference when you're stressed out or in trouble. So, send me your thoughts. Host at centersun21.com, or you can text me, area code 513-549-6080. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.